So you need to ensure that you have an agreement. So currently, I think I'm going to take us back a bit.
Yes.
Currently in Kenya, we do not have any law regulating surrogacy.
Okay.
But that does not mean, because there's no law that is coming out and saying it's illegal. No, there's just no law.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that now we are bound by an agreement, and then the courts have also made decisions to say that you need to do an adoption to transfer the name of the surrogate to the intended mother in the birth certificate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Hello, good people. Suzie Yule Diadem, living positively regardless. Doesn't matter the point at which you are in life, but we rock positivity all the way. Thank you so much for the new subscribers. Yani, you guys, you've given me so much love. I appreciate all of you. I may not mention you name by name, but just know I appreciate you choosing to join Suzie Yule Diadem family and being here. Also, thank you for those who have been with me from day one. Thank you. You can see we are growing and you can see where we are. And I thank you all because you're sharing my content. You're giving me your feedback. Yes, I love those feedback. They allow me to grow. They allow me to know what exactly you want and how you want it delivered. And I promise you guys, especially in the language thing, you said we use one language. We will try to do that. When we talk Swahili, we'll do Swahili only. When we talk Kikuyu, we'll do Kikuyu only. So I'm sorry for those who have experienced those inconveniences, but see, it is part of growth. So we are growing. And so I appreciate those feedbacks. Keep telling me what and how you want me to deliver this. And today, guys, I'm excited. You always know why I get excited when I find myself with a guest in the studio, a very beautiful lady. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Suzie. How are you?
I'm good. I'm grateful that you
Me
created
too.
time to be here.
I'm glad to be here as well.
Finally meeting you physically. I've watched you online. I have loved how you are able to approach issues that also actually what we are talking to us here, it is so dear to me and also to my followers. So I'm happy that I have the best. Karibu.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'll give you an opportunity just to look at that camera, introduce yourself, let people know who you are. Yes.
Okay. My name is Sandra Opio. I am an advocate. I have my own firm known as Nina and Misaro Associates Advocates, where we offer different services, including what we'll be talking about today, adoption and surrogacy law. Yeah.
Wow. So guys, you have heard what we are talking about. You know, this is a topic that's so dear to me. So you're there, you're fighting infertility, and you're wondering now we have talked so many things in so many other perspectives, but legally, that's why we feel we're in the right place to have you here, Sandra. And I think you're the first person who is helping us to look at it from the legal perspective. So there is a whole new experience at Suzie Yule Diadem. So thank you again for being here. Yes, so Sandra, I just want to just get right into it. Because all what we want to understand is that there are people, me and many others, we've tried to conceive. Naturally, we are not able to do that. But we have known in biology, in science, there are different ways of doing it. But now we are getting curtailed from what we want to achieve. That's why we want to hear from you. So maybe I'll just start from asking you, what is the adoption in the legal perspective?
Okay, it's basically just taking a child, and I think the importance is the law is there to ensure that children are not taken advantage of. And so adoption is basically what we all know. We take a child who has been abandoned or neglected, and now we take care of them. And so even when doing that, we have to ensure that we are taking what the courts are trying to do, and the act is to ensure that the best interest of the child is taken care of, because they really don't have a voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want to adopt a child, I've identified a child. First of all, am I allowed to choose the child I want to? Like, I go and I choose, this is the child I want. And then now, where does the legal aspect come in there?
Okay. So no, you don't go and choose a child, not unless you're doing, okay, we have different types of adoptions.
Okay.
So if you're doing a kinship adoption, that it's your relative you're adopting, yes, you can go choose. But like normally if you want to go, you can't go choose from the children's home.
Okay.
So you have to go to the adoption society first, and the adoption society has to declare the child free for adoption.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there are also requirements that they have to check for you. They have to ensure that you're mentally sound, you have not been convicted of any crime, that you're able to take care of this child. So they usually also do a report, so that now they can, after that, that is when they'll be like, okay, now you can adopt.
Okay.
But the child needs to be at least 6 weeks old. They need to be declared free for adoption. And then you go to the adoption society, and then after that you live with the child for 3 months, and that is when you approach the court.
Okay.
That is now when you go to court, now to file for adoption. Yes. Now there's really, most of the times there's really no choosing.
Okay.
But it's like now you just say, I want to adopt a baby boy or a baby girl, and then now they choose from you. Then they'll give you a portfolio of the ones who,
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say that a child must be declared that they are free
So the
for
adoption
adoption?
society is that's what they do. So they declare that you're basically not all. So they have to ensure that this child, maybe there's no one else who wants this child, or you have also met their requirements, and even the age of the child. And so it's in the best interest of this child to be adopted. That is now when they come and say this child has been declared free.
Okay. So we don't go direct to a children's home, and you have to start by...
No. You start with the adoption society.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. But then what are these requirements that you're saying I need to have met the requirements before now I'm allowed to go?
So you need to be at least 25 years old, between 25 years to 65 years old.
Okay.
You need to be 21 years older than the child you're seeking to adopt.
Oh.
You need to be mentally sound. You need to have not been convicted of any crime. Those are the ones I can think of at the top of my mind. But those are the requirements.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you're a sole applicant, that is now you as yourself, you're applying. If you're a female, you can only adopt a female child. If you're a male, you can only adopt a male relative. So the court said that male applicants are not allowed to now, because before they could adopt, but now they can't. It's only the relatives that they can adopt.
Okay.
And then if you're a foreigner, you can only adopt a relative as well. So kinship adoption only applies is now for the males and for the foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Why a male is not allowed to go and just decide they want to adopt?
Yeah.
I would understand if they're not allowed to adopt a female. But then for a man to adopt another boy.
Yeah, I really don't know why, but because there were a lot of, I'm just speculating. I'm not saying this is what happened, but because we have sodomy, and it's just that we have, because you're a sole applicant. But you see, if you're a married couple, you can adopt a male or a female. But you see, if you're adopting alone,
and you're allowed,
now where the question arises.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to choose, if you're a couple, you're allowed to choose whether you want to adopt a girl or a
Yes,
boy.
exactly.
Okay. I mean, justice for boy child, because well, I understand today there is a lot, but there also is a lot as well, even in the As among us women, we're also doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, what is the procedure now? I've gone, I have identified, and I've qualified. I'm able to adapt, like mentally, I'm okay, the things you're talking about. Financially, I'm able to cater the needs of this child. Now, what follows?
Then now you go to court. So you're supposed to live with the child now. You to live with the child for 3 months.
Okay.
And then after that, now you go to court.
Okay.
Now we file an application. We file for adoption. And so we go to court, and then we'll be given a date.
Okay.
And then during the first hearing, the court will direct the Director of Children's Services to investigate the parents, just to confirm that they're able to take care of this child and everything. And so once the report has been filed, there's also supposed to be a report by the guardian ad litem. So the parents are supposed to appoint a guardian ad litem, who is basically mostly a friend of the parent, who is able to be objective and ensure that the best interests of the child have been taken care of. And so they also do a report. And then there's also now the report that we had also done initially from the Adoption Society. So with these 3 reports, once the court looks at it, analyzes and sees, okay, it's in the best interest of the child to be adopted, then the court issues, allows the adoption. And then now you are given an adoption certificate, an adoption certificate and a birth certificate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now for these 3 months, is it that I'm being observed how I'm treating the child? Am I away the 3 months?
Yes, you're being observed, and then also for children who are usually a bit older, 10 years and above. So once they have lived with you, they're able to also come and give consent that I've lived with this person for 3 months, and it was a good environment. They come and say whether they want to continue with living with you or not. But it's just to gauge and also see whether you're actually ready to take care of the child during that period. Yeah.
Are there do's and don'ts when you're going for that child for those 3 months? Like you're told, don't go with this child, maybe abroad, don't do this. You have to make sure this child has this, as maybe if they are school-going children, they are going to school. Are there do's or don'ts?
Yeah, just the usual. Obviously, ensure that you're giving them their basic needs. And then they're going to school. They're getting the right medication. And obviously, you also still can't leave. Now, if you want to leave the country with the child, obviously the exceptional circumstances. But within that 3 months, the court obviously is a bit hesitant. But it depends on how you apply to court. Yeah, but it's just like a period just for both of you to be conversant with each other.
Okay.
Yeah, just to see whether you actually want to go ahead with this process, and it's just not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Am I able to, if at some point I feel like, yes, I adopted this child, but I feel like probably I made a wrong decision, and especially for a couple who maybe they're adopting because they're not able to conceive natural or to get a child of their own, and maybe in the next 1 year, 2 years, they have gotten their own and they feel they want to, is it possible now to give back the child?
No.
Okay.
The same way you go and when you get your own child, you give back your child, will you return back the child to the stomach? No.
Oh, so
It's
that
now
is
your obligation.
Okay.
You take care of the child now for life.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just the normal family setup where I am born, my dad cannot say, I think I made a mistake.
Yes, exactly.
To be the father
No.
of this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So there will, of course, the legal consequences, like the way if I reported that my parents are.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me also ask now, when it comes to, that is all about adoption. Are there any from there now after the 3 months and you've been given the certificates?
Yeah,
That's it. That is it.
Yeah.
And by the way, when a child now grows up and start realizing, I'm not from this and I don't want to be associated with this family. This was a wrong choice that was made for me, and now I want to make a wrong choice for myself. Can I disassociate myself from this family?
As a
legally?
child?
Yes, as a child.
No, because as a child, what the court looks at it is, unless you go to court and say these people are mistreating me, but as a child, you have a guardian,
Okay.
and they're the ones who determine for you, because you're still a child, you don't know what is right and what is wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless now you decide to go to court through a next of kin or just someone else and just say that you're being mistreated. Yeah. But otherwise, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would happen if they're able to prove it's true?
Yeah, then the court will assign to someone else. Yeah.
Okay. Sawa sawa. Thank you very much for that. So guys, if you're planning to adopt, now you know. You're saying for me to adopt, I have to go through a lawyer?
Not really. You can actually do it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I have to go through the courts.
Yeah, you have to go through the
You know
courts.
how we fear courts in Kenya? When
Don't
it comes
fear. It's actually since COVID, it's more seamless now.
Okay.
We are able to hit our timelines quicker. Yeah, I think we really thank God for that. Now we have technology, and then we are doing most of the things we are doing it virtually. So it's not as before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better. Now we go to surrogacy. Now you're there, you wanted to adopt a child. At least I hope now you're informed. And if you still feel like there's more question you would have wanted to ask about adoption, I will leave her contact here so you could still get more about this whole issue about adoption. Maybe just to ask, how long would it take now from if I decided today I want to adopt a child? Like that's whole process takes like how long?
Around 1 year, 9 months to 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like carrying a pregnancy, actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, tell us about surrogacy.
Okay. So, surrogacy. It's basically when someone is carrying the child for you. So a couple is not able to get their own child, or even Hollywood, you just want to spoil your body. So you're like, someone let someone carry for me. But here in Africa, we have not reached that level where people are being carried for just for the sake. I think most of the people who are pursuing surrogacy in Africa, it's because they really can't carry the child, or they're just having fertility issues. Yeah. So we have different types of surrogacy. Actually, just two types. I'm saying two types. So we have the traditional surrogacy and the gestational surrogacy. So traditional surrogacy, what I usually like referring people to is the story of Abraham and Sarah, because that is the perfect picture. Because you see, surrogacy was practiced from way before, even in the Bible. And so, if you remember, Abraham and Sarah were not able to conceive a child. And so in the process, Sarah spoke to Abraham and told Abraham, go and sleep with Hagar and get a child for us. And so basically that is what traditional surrogacy is. The sperm is Abraham's, the eggs is Hagar. So the surrogate is still the mother of the child. Does that make sense? So,
you know,
the surrogate, so let me, I think nimewakimbiza hii syllabus. So basically, so basic biology, sperm, egg. So with traditional surrogacy, so you might find that the intended mother's eggs are not viable. And so what they decide to do is use the surrogate's eggs, but then you use your husband's sperm. And so, and that one you use is through a process known as IUI, intrauterine insemination. That is now the traditional surrogacy. But then now with gestational surrogacy, the surrogate is not related at all to the child. So they're using the sperms and eggs for both the intended parents, and they're putting it in the surrogate. So the surrogate is just the carrier, and a baby too. They're not related at all.
Yeah.
So that I hope that's
it's clear because actually what I wanted to start with is to understand the term surrogacy itself. Because with Abraham and Hagar, what I'm seeing there, Hagai, what I'm seeing here is that or rather maybe someone now allowing my husband to get another woman who is able to bear children. I don't know whether that is part of what we would call surrogacy, because I thought surrogacy is where purely the child is mine, so the other person is coming to help me carry the child, to deliver the child for me, but the child is mine completely, where I would think there has nothing to do with this mother. In fact, I have a problem when they call. I've also read this and I hear them talking of the intended mother, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not the intended. I mean, this is the mother of the child from giving the eggs. Definitely know that is my child. It's where our laboratory now, they have not come to a process where they are able to carry to term. At some point, they still have to put it back in my womb. So this mother, if I'm to use the first one, traditional, is it really, do you still call it surrogacy, or is it really surrogacy?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what I'm telling you, it's originated from back then. So because now eventually you'll be seeing this is our child as a couple.
Okay.
Because you're looking at it as a married couple, you're struggling to have a child, or you and your partner. So you together. And so you look at it like, this is our child, yeah? Irregardless of, because you see, even with gestational surrogacy, there are people who use an egg donor or a sperm donor.
Yes.
But at least one person is genetically linked to the child. And so that now you will come and see, it's our child. And so that is now, it is still surrogacy. So they still now with that traditional and gestational.
So in the traditional way, does it mean I'm allowed, if I'm like, well, that girl, she can give birth to her own child because she's the owner of the eggs, you know, and give it to us?
Yes,
More
because
like
now what we are being bound by is the agreement. So you need to ensure that you have an agreement. So currently, I think I'm going to take us back a bit.
Yes.
Currently in Kenya, we do not have any law regulating surrogacy.
Okay.
But that does not mean, because there's no law that is coming out and saying it's illegal. No, there's just no law.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that now we are bound by an agreement, and then the courts have also made decisions to say that you need to do an adoption to transfer the name of the surrogate to the intended mother in the birth certificate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm I'm a bit lost with the wordings of the law, because I'm feeling, or maybe what you're telling us, whatever we do with the rest of the information, after someone has come, we have agreed, me and my husband, that this person is giving us a child. Whatever else we want to think about it, now it's up to us. Because I'm imagining this lady, surely, she knows that she has a child with this man. So she has the right to this child. So I will leave that one at that.
So basically what I'll also add to that is, because you're bound by the agreement, yeah? And in the agreement, while I'm drafting it, I'm seeing is, after giving birth, you're ready to forfeit all your rights. That's a surrogate, that you're not a parent to this child.
Okay.
Yeah? And that is why they're also agreeing that I'm going to be given money in exchange for this child. So it's an agreement. And so they can't come back and, breach those terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in that way, do we draw the line about child trafficking and surrogacy, whereby I would want to convince myself, maybe taking you back a little to adoption. Can I now, when I'm carrying a pregnancy and I'm imagining I'm not able to take care of this child, can I give my child out for adoption? I agree with someone and I tell them, once I give birth to this child, I don't want them. I want to give them for adoption.
You agree with someone that they're going to take that child for adoption?
Yes.
Well, I mean, when we watch movies, we see someone, you're like, yeah, you can come and take this child. But as I already told you, the child needs to be at least 6 weeks old and needs to be declared free for adoption. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question.
So I cannot give my child freely for adoption, because they have to go through the process of the...
Yes, and when a child is abandoned, one of the things also in the Children's Act is the child needs to, they give 1 year period, so that afterwards you can't come and change your mind. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
the case of someone who really want to, because I feel like it's the same thing with this surrogacy, especially when it is the traditional way, whereby you're carrying a pregnancy, but you want to give up the rights of this child.
No, but that is why we are saying it is not like we are doing a contract.
Yes.
So from the word go, there's a contract.
Yes.
That you're saying, I'm carrying this child for so and so. And once I'm done, they're going to give me money, and in exchange, I'm going to give them their child.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're doing a contract, and then there's also going to be a DNA test for the father, because the father is genetically linked to the child. Yeah.
Okay. So that one is only allowed where it's the father who is the
Yes.
owner. So it's not like me, I've gotten pregnancy from wherever it is, and I've decided Susan don't have a child. So I want
No. Traditional surrogacy, like at least the father has to be genetically linked to the child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Guys, what are you hearing about this whole thing about surrogacy? Me, I don't want to receive any stone from anyone, because what we are saying is that thing is done legally. So there will be all those write-ups and all that. That doesn't mean that, because when you're doing all this, you know the mother of the child, right? It's not where you're hiding. Because I also understand, I don't know, maybe you'd correct me, I don't know whether it's true. There is how you're able to do surrogacy with someone who you don't know each other. Rest, they come back and they will feel like they have started having an attachment to this child, where you want to do it with maybe someone once they give out the child, they don't know to who they have given. Is there anything of the sort?
Yeah, people normally do anonymous. I think even most, even when you look at Hollywood, most people are doing it with anonymous. Like, we don't want to be followed later on with this surrogate being blackmailed and exploited. And so people do it without revealing their identities.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that cannot happen with the traditional.
No. That can't happen with the traditional. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
But it can still happen where you're just going to collect the child. Because the IUI is done in the lab, it's done in hospital. Yeah. So, and that's the difference between the biblical story, where now your husband is going to sleep with that person. But now in this case, it's not your husband sleeping with them. It's being done in the lab. They're just putting the sperm in that lady. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what's its procedure?
The procedure for
surrogacy now?
Basically, depending on your situation, you're a couple, you're struggling, and you decide to go the IVF route or the IUI route, depending on your circumstances. It depends on the viability of your eggs, the sperms, and all that. And so then now you go see a doctor, see if IVF or IUI, which one is the appropriate route. Then after that, after you've decided, then you can either decide to use an agent, or you look for a relative, or you look for surrogate yourself.
Okay.
Once you decide that's the route you want to take. And so you identify, once you get a surrogate, then you agree on the payment and everything. Then you come do the contract with me. So once you have the contract, is when now the doctor can now go ahead and start the embryo transfer. And so the embryo is transferred, the surrogate gets pregnant, and then she's given her monthly payments. After she gives birth, she's given her lump sum amount, and then in exchange for the child. And then after that, the parents do a DNA test, just to confirm that the child belongs to, is genetically linked to the parents. And then after that, the next step, what the courts have said, is you have to do an adoption, because for now surrogacy is not legally recognized, and so you have to do an adoption. So you have to go through the process that we had spoken about earlier. But now this one, because now it's basically a kinship adoption. You're adopting your own kin, yeah?
Your own child, yes.
So the procedure is not as stringent as the other one. So you do a kinship adoption. The thing is, you have to have all the 3 reports. The report from the Adoption Society, the report from the Director of Children's Services, and the report from the Guardian ad litem. So once that is done, then the court can you're given the birth certificate, because currently under the Births and Deaths Registrations Act, because I know people will be wondering why adoption. The reason why is because under the Births and Deaths Registrations Act, the surrogate is the mother of the child. And so to transfer the name of the surrogate to the intended mother, then you need to go through adoption. Yeah, I'm just I think that's it. I hope I've not forgotten something else. Yeah. So something else also wanted to mention is for foreigners, people who are in a hurry and they want to go back to their country with their child, what they usually do is in between there, they do a parental order from the chief magistrate's court, where they're basically seeing the surrogate is transferring all parental rights to the parents, and they're allowing the parents to, she's allowing the parents to live with the child out of the country, and that is one of the requirements that the embassy usually requires to process the visa for the child. Yeah.
You were saying up to the point of birth, this child still belongs to the mother who is carrying the pregnancy, whether it's the one who gave the eggs. Still at the point of birth, this child belongs to the carrier. This woman who is carrying, you know, me don't know.
Yes.
We calling her the mother. Who is a mother here? So the law recognizes the mother as the person carrying the pregnancy, regardless, right? So that's why now you need to go for adoption for your own kid.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's a bit tricky.
But we currently have it's not been passed yet, but there's a bill in Parliament, and I think those are the issues that they were addressing, because it's very sad. I mean, you're going through all this and then you're being told to adopt your own child.
Imagine.
But the bill, where assisted reproductive technology bill, they are basically seeking, one of the things they're proposing is to get rid of the whole adoption thing, so that immediately after birth, the intended mother now automatically becomes the parent, the intended parents. So they won't be going through the whole stringent procedure.
True.
Because
I think they should separate the two, especially now. The traditional, I still don't know how they will handle it, because for real, she has to give out the child because But now for the other one, I think for sure there's no need of the hassle of now going there. Which are these agencies that you're mentioning that you can go if you want to do surrogacy? You go to an agent, you're able to get. Let's get to it. Who are these agencies? Can I now start myself, Susan, a farm where I can have few ladies, a group of ladies who are ready to do surrogacy, and so I tell, if you're a woman, you want a surrogate mother, I provide.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Because we currently don't have any law regulating that.
Okay.
And it's just like, I think, yeah, you can. I mean, we have agencies. Just basically, you just need to have a willing buyer, willing seller. You have, we're not selling children. That's what I'm trying to say. But you have the intended parents that are seeking after you, and you also have surrogates so you link them up.
Okay.
So you're there, the in between, and then also what the agency also does is work with the surrogate. Especially when the parents don't want to be known, so they're the in between, they're the middleman, relaying the information and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they regulated by law in any way?
No.
Wow.
It's just like I don't know how. Yeah, they're not really regulated by law. No, because it's, and then for you as the parent, if you're signing you have to ensure that you're signing the contract with the agent. just to ensure that your things are in order. I think for everything, you just need to ensure that you have a contract. So yeah, so even for the parents, sign the contract with the agent, and also the other way around, the surrogate sign the contract with the agent. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Are there other ways that the law allows me to become a mom apart from the two?
No. I think it's just adoption and surrogacy. Though surrogacy is not really regulated by law, but yeah, I mean, that's it. But we still have a lot of things under assisted reproductive technology. It's just not surrogacy alone. There are a lot of things within that. We have sperm donation, egg donation. We also have I know I don't think people have heard of this, but you know you can retrieve sperm from someone who has died within 72 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Who is giving the consent?
so the person needs to have given consent before they died. Like let's say they were in this process of fertility and they wanted to get a child. So you can retrieve the sperm and get a child later on. Just preserve the sperm.
But that can only happen when he had given a consent before.
But because we really don't have any laws,
you could still.
Yes, but now the problem is now clandays can now use it, especially you find the person who died is from a rich family and they didn't have any children. So the clanday decides to retrieve, and then now they wait to fish. They're like, now I have a child with this guy, and it's a bit of a tricky area because obviously it can be challenged in court, but it happens. Yeah.
Now can it be challenged in court? Now that we are talking of challenging things in court, be careful that some of the things that you do today can be challenged tomorrow in court. If for instance, I just met a friend and they have issues with bringing up a child, I pick up the child for myself, maybe even from a tender age, and we have agreed with them, I've given you the child. So huyo ni mtoto wako. So I start bringing up the child. Is there anywhere that I can now, and maybe at some point, years later, this person wants to take the child from me, that this is my child to reclaim. In the court, is there a way that I would be fought by the law that actually you are living with this child illegally?
I'm just wondering under what circumstances did you give out your child? But if I'm just coming from a point of, let's say someone has abandoned their child.
Yes.
You and the court has already given an adoption order. It's very difficult, especially after 3 years, that you can't come back and now say that I want back my child. No.
Okay.
So because even if you apply to review those orders, you have to give like very, exceptional circumstances, because where have you been all along? Where are you coming right now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you go through the adoption process and you've been given an order and a birth certificate, the court deems that you're legally the parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless whether the child realizes and notices that is actually their biological parent and where they are.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah,
right?
regardless.
Because the law recognizes that this person living with this child is the mother and the father, and that is it.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you for answering that. But actually, I was even asking where we don't even involve any legal way. You know, where you would go and maybe you, even let's say you found a child being you are rescuing a child from a situation, and maybe the parent have no issue with you, kitaka kuchukua, just have the child. So you bring them up, but they know where their child is. Then after years, now they are coming. You had not done anything like going through adoption and all that. Where does the law leave you now?
Because you didn't use the law from the beginning, why do you expect the law to cover you?
Okay.
So if you decide not to use the law from the beginning, then you don't expect the law to cover you later on.
Okay.
But I understand from that circumstance, like let's say it's a relative, because I know in Africa, most of us do that. You have your sister's children, you live with them. Those are just family issues. That's all I can say. Because if you're not involving the law,
I'm asking that because I know these things, and especially for people going through infertility, there are sometimes you feel like, okay, you really don't, you've not come to a point where now you want to do adoption, but a situation presents itself and you find a child and you just decide, like personally I found myself in that situation, and you just decide, okay, let me have this child for the reason that their parents are not ready. Mostly inakuanga, it's mostly from a single lady who is not married, who became pregnant and she don't want his pregnancy. So you just assume that now you can be the mother because the mother is willing to give you the child. But now the question comes, now later on in life, what will happen when this person, the same person who gave you the child, comes back and says, I want my child back? What will happen? So now the answer you gotten today is, Sandra says, from the legal perspective, you did it from a friendly basis, so you give back.
yeah, just give back. And if you want to be protected, like in that situation, do a kinship adoption. That option is available if they're related to you. And just do things the legal way so that it's easier to be protected in that way. But if you're doing things juakali, then you really can't be protected, and you really can't come back to blame people. So I think all along you just need to ensure that everything is in order. Like it's more expensive to not be compliant legally. So just ensure that all those things are in order, that if you're doing surrogacy, ensure you have an agreement, ensure you're doing things legally, the legal way. Same to adoption. Don't just go collect a child, go through the legal way. Because I know it's very easy, it's just because it's just a juakali relationship. But the thing is, now you become attached.
Yeah, sure.
You become attached. That's the problem. But just do things the legal way. So talk to the person, ask them, are you willing to let go? It's been how many years? And then do things the legal way. Yeah.
Now I've had a case, maybe you would want to mention something about it, where this lady felt that she's not able to take care of the child. Actually, she don't want even the child from the first place. And so the thought was, if I don't get someone to give, maybe I can just take the child to an adoption home. But then the whole thing became so complicated that you need to prove that you really are not in a position to bring up this child. Do you want to mention about that?
You need to confirm, they look at the best interest of the child. They need to confirm that you are if you can prove that you're not able to provide for the child, let's say you're living in the streets, you're not able to give them their basic needs, you're not able to take them to school, you're not able to, give them medication, all that.
Yeah, I thought it was, for me, looking from my own perspective, I thought it should be allowed, because I was thinking, for the reason as to why this child really don't want to be with this child, probably that's why we fight children being dumped, because actually it's not like she had already given birth. It's like, I'm paid, I don't want, even if I give birth to this child, I don't want them completely. For her own reasons. She had her own reasons.
And that's why most people dump, because you really can't, even the children's home, they're also overwhelmed. They have so many children. So they're like, why? Like this one is maybe the mother died, or so most people just decide, let me just dump and then someone will come.
Or let me suffocate this child and go. Because so now I was so like, sad, guys. I wish they are just allowed to give out the child for adoption. Probably maybe after some years they would also be called back and asked.
But then the question is, as a parent, you're the one who's brought this child to this world. Wewe ndo umeenda ukatafuta huo mtoto. So you can't come and but I understand some people go through postpartum depression. No, they really can't afford to take care of the child. But if you're that person, please trust in God and do your obligation as a parent.
There's no escape route.
There's no escape route.
Wow. So Sandra, maybe I would also want to understand, what are the legal consequences if someone breaks now the agreement along the way, whether it's before the child is born or after the child is born. I decide, I've remembered I wanted this child for myself.
Okay, so the legal consequences.
Yes.
So while drafting the contract, I usually put, dependent on, so for most of the, so it depends on the terms of the contract. So I'm just going to give an example. So for example, one of the terms I put in my contract is the surrogate is not allowed to have sex during the 9 months. And so if you breach this, I know that can be a bit, you're like, okay, so how will you prove that she had
that's
sex?
the next question I was about to ask.
But you see, the problem is the child is in danger of getting STDs. You've had people, mtoto alizaliwa with those two infections, and it actually affects them. The child is in danger of getting STDs or HIV, all those sexually related diseases. Well, they're there. Anyway, so if someone can prove that, I know that's a bit difficult to prove. I should have used another example, but if someone can prove that, then they can sue the surrogate, and then they can also decline to pay her.
Okay.
And I think that also goes, another reason why I'm also talking about the story of sex is when the parents do the DNA test and they find the child is not related to the parents. And that is because the surrogate decided to sleep with someone else and conceived. Yeah, let's say on the night of the transfer. Yeah. So then you can sue her, and you can decide to sue her, or you can just decide to leave her with the child, because it's a child actually. You leave her with the child, and you not pay her. So those are the consequences. And then so you can sue, you can decide to not pay, and you can decide to leave her with the child. And I'm also trying to now in the reverse. If the parents decide not to pay, then the surrogate can sue. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. But you're going to cancel the contract and you live away with my own child. Where am I supposed to take, first of all, me, the ones that you have not paid? I've been left with a child.
But it's your own child. When ulienda ukalala na mtu that night before you went to sleep with someone. Anyway,
no, I'm saying the reverse way. You're saying if the parent who are willing to pay, at some point now they are not able to pay. Or they have refused
so
to pay.
you can sue them to pay, and then you can also sue them to take their child.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because you had a contract.
So
that is the easy thing about the contract. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I know this is a serious thing. We should not be laughing, but it's why I'm just imagining that they have refused to pay. So I have decided I will not give you your child. But then now I was not even ready for this.
Exactly.
So it can become complicated, right?
Yeah. It's very complicated.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that part, that you're not supposed to. Months before. How many months before?
Just from the word go, but those are the things that they know. They know from the word go that they're not supposed to do that. But it depends. It depends on. I'm not saying that this is what I draft in all my contracts. It depends on the couples. If they're okay, let us sleep around. Why not?
Yeah, because even in the normal circumstances, people are conceiving, people they still do these things.
So it depends on the couple. Yeah.
Wow, that's tricky. So if you wanted to be a surrogate mother, you should also be ready to be disciplined. That once you, and also I also think it's also good for you to be sure that you're giving out a child who really belongs to this couple. You don't want to give them a child and then later they realize, by the way, this is not our child. Wow. And even but I want also to believe they do pregnancy tests, all that before they even do the transfer, right? So can I decide now I want to be a surrogate mother? Like I tell people, if you want to have children, I'm here available, like do it as a business.
So the only challenge here is even when you go to the clinic, they'll tell you need at least 2 years before you give birth to the next child. That's what they tell. Even you in the normal circumstances after you give birth to a child, they tell you wait 2 years. So I don't know what type of business that will be, because now you just be 1 year and then go out for another 2 years and then.
But if you choose to, the law has no problem with you.
Yeah, there's no problem with you. But now the problem is, it's just you to accept that the consequences, your health, and I don't know why I mean, it depends on a person. Just viewing it as a business because there's someone else who is out there suffering, but you're like, it's a business. But to each their own. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, guys, I normally tell you when you see yourself carrying a pregnancy, don't think that it's happening just like that and it's a normal thing. It isn't, because you can imagine, you can hear the whole discussion that we are having here, even waiting for Parliament to pass some of these laws so that things are made easier for people. So you have a child. Please know that that's a blessing, that's a gift from God. Stop calling them those names that you're calling them when they irritate you. And also, take care of the feeling of those people around you who are not able to conceive naturally, because the whole thing is just so draining. And also, again, just to keep reminding you, stop asking people why they are not getting children. You can already hear what it takes to go all that through. So if you see a couple, they are happy, they are doing well, the only thing to you is missing in that family is a child, please don't make it your business. It is their business. Allow them, give them peace. Don't keep asking us, why are you not giving birth? Why don't you? It is just a blessing, and children are a gift from God. So if you're carrying that pregnancy and you're thinking this is an unwanted child, imagine there's no unwanted child, because there are people who want children, they are not able to get. They are having to go whole long. They're having to look for lawyers. They're having to look for, they're having to look for money. You just needed to sleep, and you slept with your husband or even with your boyfriend or even someone's husband, and you got pregnant, and now you want to say that this is an unwanted child. You want to abort, you want to dump that child. Someone else is crying out to get that child. Please, thank God that you're carrying that pregnancy for whatever reason. I'm not saying people to go around getting pregnant with other people's husbands and all that, but once you're there, just know that the child you're carrying is just a pure blessing and a gift from God. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you again, Sandra, for being with us. Any closing remarks? Maybe you want to tell people where they can find you if they need your legal services, and what other areas that you feel you would.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna share my details with below.
Yes.
So I'm located at Lavington, but I'm gonna give her my details.
Yes.
I offer other services, not just this, but I think eventually I'm now being known more and more as a family lawyer. So I do divorce matters, I do adoption, children, just whatever we're doing here, parental responsibility agreements, maintenance, custody, all that. And the firm also does other services because we have other lawyers. They also do company, commercial law, different services. The list is long, but I'm going to share with Susan my details below, so you guys can check me out. Thank you.
Maybe you can read out your contact if you want to.
Oh, my contact 0715 916 458. Yes, and then you can also check out my website www.ninamisaroadvocates.com. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
So, guys, now you know where to go when you want to divorce. Don't divorce, but even when they want to marry, they can't.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm not here advocating for. I'm a Christian, but when it gets to that point, and you want to live each other, just do it the right way. Also, I think in all things, just ensure that you're always legally protected. Yeah,
So you people just tell us, do things the right way. The right way is following the law of the land.
Yes, exactly. Because it's easier to be protected once you've
gone the right way.
Yeah.
But uko kando, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. So maybe next time we'll come back and we discuss other things, like now when it comes to divorce, the procedures and all that. When it comes to they want to marry a second wife and they want to do it legally, so chini ya maji, what would happen and all that. I hope, because you have said you're more of finding yourself on the family
law side.
Yeah. So we will still come back to you, Sandra, so that we can hear more about this. Tell me, guys, what you have thought about that session. What do you think? What other questions do you have? We'll still forward it to Sandra. What else would you want us to come back and discuss in terms of family law now that we have her in the house? Yes. So till then, bye. Subscribe if you've not subscribed. Kindly share this information. And also, like, comment. Let me hear you what you think about it. Bye.